If you're a Chinese submarine commander, you know that one of your standard orders is to try and push your submarines as much as possible into the Indian Ocean, because that's where China wants to flex its muscle, encircle India, and try and knock out that image that the Indian Navy is the dominant force here. Well, submariners are always under pressure, and Chinese submariners are no less. They've got a big task at hand. And now India's made that difficult task even more difficult thanks to these new helicopters that have just entered service. They may be just helicopters, but these are force multipliers of the kind that can give submarine commanders very sleepless nights, especially if they have plans in the Indian Ocean, which is the Indian Navy's area of responsibility. Watch this report on these brand new MH-60 Seahawk or Romeo helicopters from the United States that have just been commissioned into service today in Kerala by the Indian Navy. Everything you need to know in this report. Hostile submarines in the Indian Ocean, looking to probe India's maritime domain for years and encircle the subcontinent. Your work just got a whole lot more dangerous. Say hello to the Indian Navy's newest submarine hunters, the American-built MH-60R Seahawk helicopters that go by the moniker Romeo. With 6 delivered and 18 more to arrive in batches, these formidable naval helicopters enter formal service today as part of a brand new squadron. The INAS 334, the new home to the Indian Navy's newest teeth against the quietest, most insidious threat in the Indian Ocean. The helicopters, which began deliveries in July 2022, have already begun operations from their new home base in Kochi, Kerala, deployed on Indian Navy ships and aircraft carriers for missions they've been designed for, as a harmful deterrent to misadventures in the Indian Navy's area of responsibility, the entire Indian Ocean. The Indian Navy's version of the MH-60 Romeo comes formidably armed for all manner of targets. For submarine targets, the Indian Romeos carry Mark 54 torpedoes. For ship targets, the helicopters will soon be fitted with Kongsberg naval strike missiles and then possibly an Indian anti-ship missile. The helicopters also carry a load of AGM-114 Hellfire precision strike missiles for a variety of surface targets. And finally, the APKWS laser-guided rocket system capable of pulverizing surface targets. The new helicopters fill an expanding gap in capability. The Indian Navy has not only been pressured by low submarine numbers, its anti-submarine warfare-seeking helicopters have hit the end of their life and have been badly in need of replacing. With 6 now and a final fleet of 24 Romeos over the next few years, the Indian Navy finally has a no-nonsense arsenal capable of giving Chinese submarines and other threats serious second thoughts. Bureau Report, India Today. And I want to bring in someone who knows more than a thing or two about not only India's effort to get these helicopters, but now that they're finally here and being commissioned into the Indian Navy in a brand new squadron called INAS 334 in Kochi, Kerala today, he knows what they are actually going to bring to the table as far as the great game in the Indian Ocean is concerned. Captain D.K. Sharma is my old friend. He's a former spokesperson of the Indian Navy. Sorry to keep you waiting, Captain Sharma. There was a small communication gap. My apologies for that. But bringing you live on this show, there's a sense of disbelief that, after so many years, right through your career of, this requirement not being met, the gap obviously being there, the seeking helicopters aging and becoming, increasingly obsolete. Now there is a brand new squadron, 6 of these Formidable helicopters are there, Captain Sharma. 18 more, 16 more will be coming. It's a big day for the Indian Navy. Tell us how this changes the game.
Well, Shiv, good evening to you and all your listeners. Remember in February 20, we spoke when the deal was signed for the Romeos. And that day I said, both of us were on the screen, that it was a red letter day. Shiv, we had the Seeking Bravos. The Seeking Bravos were a terror in their own time. I'm talking about late 90s, early, those era. If a Seeking was sighted, the submarine will just switch off. Today, that gap has been plugged.
Yes.
We've got 6 of the Romeos here. And believe you me, they are the most advanced and state-of-the-art anti-submarine hunters. They can pin down a submarine. You see, we have PATIs, we have the bigger, the UAVs, which can localize and tell you here it is. Because they have a very big area of operation and they are moving, they are fixed wing. The moment a Romeo is launched and it goes and establishes and dips down its dunking sonar, that is the end of the submarine. Because now the submarine cannot do anything. Because this platform, we call it a flying frigate, because as you listed out, it has got a sonar. It will quickly run its sonics, localize and pinpoint the position, and there comes the torpedo. And should the torpedo miss, there's another torpedo. Then there are rockets, which we call as depth charges.
Yes.
And there will always be another Seeking Romeo somewhere else, which will, replace this Romeo on task. So that this is how you pin down a submarine in an ocean. Impossible. But this will be now made possible. And as you have rightly said, that the job of the submarine commanders is going to become very, very difficult. In any case, we were keeping a very close track of their movement. The moment they cross the Malacca Strait or the Sunda or whatever time they enter this side of Indian Ocean. But now if they come closer to us or to my area of operation where something of my interest is happening, believe you me, they will have tough time. No doubt.
Just tell me something, Captain Sharma. I want to understand this a little better because this is, this is very alien for those of us who are not in service, and many of our viewers watching would also like to hear it from a military man like you. If you're in a submarine, everything depends on not being detected. What will it be like in a submarine once a Romeo gets launched from somewhere nearby? What will be the mood in the submarine and what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, I'll just tell you. Romeo will not get launched just like that. He will not be doing, hit and trial. There is a full chain of things which will happen. First is the Sea Guardians, then will be the PATI. They will drop the sonar buoys. They will localize the area. So that area might be 30 miles by 30 miles, 20 miles by 20 miles, 50 miles by 50 miles. Now, once this is known that this is the area where they have detected some movement underwater, and movement underwater in open seas, in oceans, we know it what it is. So now to doubly confirm it, the ship carrying the Romeo will be heading to that place full speed, and ship will be using its own sonars. Now, they already know that there is a threat. There is something which we have, pinged on.
Yes.
There is something which is giving a signal. Now this helicopter will be launched when it is closer, and as it is being shown on your screen, there is a dunking sonar.
Yes.
And it will start going and dunking at various places. The moment the sonar goes down, it is so sensitive that if there is anything happening, 99% once the sonar buoys have picked up the submarine, it will start going silent. But then there are other machineries which are running on board the submarine, which is emanating sound. The sound waves are coming out. The moment Romeo goes and puts out first transmission and he gets the reflection or the sound gets reflected from there, this is when he will start pinpointing and locating and marking the position.
Yes.
And should there be another ship with it and another Romeo can come, or if the aircraft carrier is there, 2-3 Romeos come, they will pin it down like putting a cage around you. and you can't go anywhere, and it will be prosecuted. And that is why India has invested so much money, and
Yes.
3-4 years of training has happened. And now, after 20, once we signed, in February 20, we signed it.
Yes.
Then the helicopters started coming one by one. Then full training was done. And
Right.
now they will replace the
Absolutely.
Harpoons were the Seeking
Absolutely
Bravos,
fascinating. No, no, absolutely, utterly fascinating, Captain Sharma, and I thank you for your time on this, because understanding what, helicopters to everyone seem ordinary, but it is what is inside this helicopter, what it can do, what its sensors have, and that amazingly evocative description by Captain Sharma tells you why these helicopters are every submarine commander's worst nightmare, and that's what the Indian Navy has commissioned into service today. We wish the new squadron, INAS 334, happy hunting, Shano Varuna. May the ocean gods be auspicious unto you, and we wish all the men and women who are part of this aviation unit the very, very best and always safe landings. Thank you very much, Captain Sharma, for joining us on this. That's it on 5 Live.